my video How to Film a Dialogue Scene, someone commented that they thought the movie Draft Day was a great example of to keep a film interesting that's heavy dialogue. And although I'd seen Draft Day, I was wondering why it never occurred to me to use that movie as an example. And I think the reason is that that movie has a very minimal approach to cinematography, and it's really carried with the script and editing and acting. And I think that's what makes the movie not feel like it has such a heavy dialogue. So if you look at this scene, for example, it's a simple approach. Camera gives you a wide shot, then it tilts down, and the camera's not moving, it's just panning to the right. And now we got some movement, and we're tracking the subjects. An over the shoulder shot. Another wide shot. It's really a great balance between movement and static shots that make this so interesting. They're even at the same spot, but look how the settings change from an amusement park to just a green background from the trees. These are great shots, and I think the beauty about this is that when you combine them all together, they really make a nice scene. The cinematographer is Eric Steelberg, and as I started researching his work, I realized that his minimal approach is his style, and it works great. Just listen to this clip in an interview he gave a while back.
Anybody comes away from one of our films who, oh, there's a really cool shot, I feel like we didn't do our job, because the stuff that we do is not about cool shots. No shot should stand on its own. Just nobody should be, ripping a page out of a book and being like, oh, read this page. Because, oh man, this page in this book, I love it. Like, no, it was a great book, right? If there's like a shot that's standing out, we're doing something wrong. We're bringing too much attention to the filmmaker or the cinematography, and it should be an experience. It should all be cohesive and with the performance and the directing, and so there shouldn't be anything that's a flourish.
I found this really interesting because I started thinking about whether I have this mentality. Am I constantly just looking for the one good shot, or am I thinking about how the shots all come together well? So what I want to do is look at another Eric Steelberg scene from a movie from 2009 called 500 Days of Summer. And so the scene starts with a side trucking shot, and then we get a POV shot of him pointing up and showing his architecture knowledge, and so we're seeing what they're seeing basically. And so it's a cool way to use establishing shots in the story to show off the city. And then I like this here, it's just a little off-centered, and the door closes and you get this reflection. It comes down, they're in the center, shallow depth of field. Very nice. And now we've got a below the eye level shot, wide, then a medium close-up of just their face. Now we're switching to her side. Now we switch back to his side. And we go back to the center. The camera's not cutting back and forth quite as much to soak in the actor's performance here. And then right as it's starting to get insert shots, and then go wide, and then go tight on their face because they're laughing and enjoying this moment. And it goes wide, beautiful background, and tight up in their face. And then he draws this picture on her arm, and this is the first really insert close-up shot we've had. And then a real wide. That's it. And then you just see, that's the scene. I mean, you watch that scene, you don't think about the cinematography, but don't get bored. I mean, it's an interesting scene. Even if you hadn't seen the beginning of the movie, you're kind of interested in them. So I ended up just by chance watching this show called The Idol on HBO Max, and then comparing that to 500 Days of Summer. It's a very interesting comparison I want to take a look at. And we've got a wide shot here, and we've got him coming in. It's dark and edgy.
Hi.
Wow.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Okay, that was too long. We were on him way too long. Then he comes in. All right. Yeah, he's looking around. Interesting. This is too long. I mean, this scene is too long. Look at this cool shot. It's It's the weekend by a piano. And then we get a POV of him. Then we get a close up. That's a cool shot. Look at that bokeh. Real nice. Look at those edgy lights. These are good shots. Cool of her going down. You track her hand. It's out of focus. It's like a this is like a perfume commercial right here. It looks good, but like I'm asleep. Like I'm asleep, right? I mean, this is a cool perfume commercial, but oh. All right, I think that's it, but you get the point. There's some really cool shots in this show, but it is slow. Okay, so I want to look at one more movie that uses this very minimal approach, and that is The Social Network, which is by maybe the greatest filmmaker of all time, Fincher. So again, very simple opening, just cuts in for the wide shot, then the camera comes over to the two, and it's completely static. So let's look at some of the shots in this scene, just break them out, freeze the frame. So let's freeze this and take a look. So you've got this looking down at them wide shot, it's balanced. Nothing special here, really, just getting a viewpoint as if you're standing above them. Then you've got this single right here, which is a medium shot. It's a little heavy on the left. Beautiful color palette. Just letting the actors act. There's a very simplicity about this scene. There's no camera movement or anything. Then, as the conversation gets more intense, you start getting these close shots, as if you're leaning in. What are you saying? What are you saying? And I really like that, because this is a scene where Mark Zuckerberg is learning about what he could do. He's learning the potential. It's an eye-opening scene, even though it's just a static shot in a club. And then you've got this another over the shoulder right here, looking at Jesse Eisenberg again, just kind of bringing people back. It's just a very simple scene. Okay, now that you've seen that scene from The Social Network, take a look at this behind the scenes video with David Fincher, where he talks about this exact thing that we're talking about right now.
Here we go. You know, you got a 5-page scene where a guy is in a club and he's trying to seduce another character. And you could put on a steady cam and you could spin around that table and you could do a lot of stuff. But really the important thing is to watch Jesse Eisenberg's face as he listens, because the listening is more than half of that conversation. It's what he misses when he says, is that a parable? And then, you know, where he gets his hooks in and where he starts to really grapple with what it is that Sean's saying above the din of this, you know, disco music. That's the scene. You know, what makes it cinematic is the performances, what their eyes are doing as they're trying to grasp what the other person is telling them, or how quickly Jesse Eisenberg takes on this information and moves to the next subject, and the things that he has trouble with and the things that he gets immediately. And so that for me was, you know, when it comes to the visualization of it, it was kind of like, let's shoot it. It's a character drama, and it's all about whether or not I believe the behavior.
So my takeaway from this is to stop thinking about shots. Start thinking about the scene, how the shots connect together to tell the story and complement each other. Are you keeping your audience engaged? In the end, we're not photographers, we're cinematographers. And so the flow of the scene is more important than, you know, updating your reel. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.